Well, welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today, I'm going to have a little bit of a video here on changing your oil. No, I am not going to change the oil on my vehicles. There's millions of videos out there if you want to know how to change your oil. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the tips that I've picked up over the years, the proper tools to use when doing an oil change, and using the proper equipment. And the first thing that I found has served me well is to get yourself a logbook and record, you know, like everything from day one, you know, like every maintenance item that you do, you write it down in your logbook. Number two is I actually have an app on my phone, and I'll show you this app here, and it's called Fuelly or Acar. And guys, it's just an app, and it'll tell you, you know, the different, you can input the different schedules of when you should have an oil change by time or by mileage, and you know, you can put as many vehicles in as you want and that kind of stuff, and it'll send you a notification on your phone so you don't do your oil change past due. And that's the biggest problem that I see with people doing their own oil changes, is they don't do them on time. Big question is, how often should you do your oil changes? For me, I do my oil changes every 4 months. I don't care what the mileage is, unless I go over 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 miles. If I go over 3,000 miles, I do the oil change, and that's it. For me, it's cheap insurance, and the vehicle doesn't get driven that much. That's why I have a short oil change frequency. If you're driving it more, you know, like on the highway run every day, well then that's fine. You can extend it a bit more, but you know what? Oil changes are cheap compared to engines. So what do I use to change my oil with? Well, the first thing is, if you want to change your oil yourself, you look in the manual and you see what kind of oil it should have. And there it is right there. General Motors for 2002 for my Silverado is you have to have the right Starburst certification. And if you look on a jug of oil, and I highlighted it there, yeah, you see the 5W20, or sorry, 5W30 there, and you see the Starburst. Now, if you take a look at that, and if you actually go in the store and read it, it's going to say American Petroleum Institution. There's lots of oils out there, believe it or not, no-name oils, don't have that seal on there. For my vehicle, that's all is required, but many other vehicles, no. In the future, I'll show you how complicated it is to get the right oil for your Ford. So let's go on to the next part here. So, what do you change your oil with? Well, you need some tools, right? The main thing that I always do is get the right tool for the job. And for me, I like to buy these. And you can see there's two different ones here. And all they are is the right size socket to fit your drain plug. And of course, you can put your ratchet on the end here. And for me, these are very expensive. I don't sell anything on my channel. I just show you what it is. And the biggest fun, you know what, is finding this stuff. And yeah, these come in a set. And I think they're the way to go. Plus, when you're putting it in, it's knurled on the sides, so you can manually put it in so far. And then what do you do after that? Well, you don't do like a lot of other people. And I've seen this so many times on YouTube where people change their oil and just get the ratchet out there and get a, you know, I've seen some with like a pretty big ratchet too and tighten down the drain plug. No. You use a torque wrench. These are very inexpensive for a torque wrench. And that's what I do, because you know what? Strip out that drain plug and find out how much it's going to cost you now. Because, you know, if you're set up to do an oil change, you might as well do it right. Now, there's lots of different tools. They have this style here. They have this style here that will, you know, you can go left or right, and these will open up and grab. This style works good too. And they have the old-fashioned style like this for taking your oil filter off. Well, I don't use them anymore most times. What I use is these captured cups. They're steel cups. They're very inexpensive. I think I paid like $6 each for each one. And they've got a, you know, you can put your ratchet in there if you want. So what I do is I make sure that I buy a proper extension, because most of the time you can't get right up there. You have to have a little bit of an extension on there. And I only prefer this type of extension. Now this type here, if you see a little button here, that button controls this locking mechanism. So when I put it on, this does not come off. Because many times if you just try a regular extension, you put it up there, guess what? As you're loosening it off, you never want to use this for tightening on. It's just for loosening the oil filter off. Yeah, it'll bind in there. And as you loosen your filter up, of course, it's going to start to want to drain oil down all over everything. And your regular extension will slip off. This one won't. You have to actually press the pin to get it off. And that's what I really like about that. So how do I take my filters off? Well, I just use my 1/4 inch 3/8 drive, whatever you have, and this is a, you know, cordless ratchet. I use that, and it works fine for taking it off. For installing it, I only go by what the manufacturer actually says. And you know, it's not hard to figure out. You tighten it by hand. I've seen so many people use tools and just crank these things on. All I do is just put the filter up, a little bit of oil on the seal, and make sure that the old seal came down as well, and I tighten it up hand tight. And of course, if you take a look at some good quality filters, it'll actually show on the filter how many turns once it makes contact that it needs to be tightened up. Now, should you put oil in your filter before you actually mount it? Well, I don't. And there's all kinds of pros and cons whether you should put the oil in your filter before you put it up. It's supposed to have this dry start stuff and everything else. Guys, I've been doing this all my life, never had a problem. And I think that's an old wives' tale kind of a deal. And, you know, for me, you guys do what you want. It's up to you. But no, I put the oil filter in there dry. And that's for another show, isn't it? So. Okay, so what kind of deal do you go with when you're putting your oil in your engine? Well, I really like this style here. Now this one here it's a filter that's just got, not a filter, a funnel that's got a cap on the bottom and a cap on the top. And you just take the cap off and you put it in your engine spout for your putting in your engine oil. And when you're finished, it's all sealed up. So you don't have to worry about, you know, contamination and cleaning it all out all the time and everything like that. But this one here I really prefer a lot. It's a lot more expensive. I think I paid $30 for this one, and it does my Ford and it also does my GM, and it actually screws right into the part where you take your oil cap off and you put this on, and you could see how it's got the exact same screw threads, and that's what I like. Because I have had the occasion where you put a funnel in there and as it fills up, sometimes it can get pretty tipsy. So no, I don't fool around with that. I go with this. I find this is the easiest way. And you know, that's pretty well it. I mean, the main thing is a lot of people, the biggest mistake they make is they go to these stores and they buy the oil and they go only by the viscosity. And there's a lot more to doing an oil change than just picking out the right viscosity. On my particular 2002 Silverado, it just wants the proper starburst seal and the right viscosity. You can look in your manual and see what it is. But for many vehicles today, you have to actually look in your manual or look online if you don't have a manual and see exactly what the specifications are. Because on my Ford, it's a long number, like this long, with, you know, numbers and letters in there. And it's very specific on what you use. And just because the bottle says synthetic oil doesn't mean it's for your engine. It could be completely wrong for your engine. So that's the basis of every oil change, is to make sure you're putting in the right product and using the proper filter. Now, I did make a video on on using the proper filter, and you know, there's a lot of controversy on filters. So I'll leave that one alone. If you want, you can take a look at that video at the end here, or I'll put the link down below. But that's pretty well it, you know, for an oil change. You have to spend a little bit of money. But I'm saying in the beginning to set yourself up, for under $100, you can do oil changes on your vehicle for the life of your vehicle. And to buy the oil and the filter yourself and do the job yourself, you know, is not a hard thing to do. Just practice some good safety. Make sure you have a set of jack stands if you have to jack the vehicle up. And practice a little bit of safety. So today I didn't show you how to do an actual oil change. I just showed you some of the tools that I like, I use, and you know, over the time, I bet you I've saved thousands of dollars doing it myself. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, well, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again, and let's have some more fun. Cheers.